Hi, welcome to ArtsAlive. I'm Walter Haight, filling in for Linda Philippi, who's taking a short break. Today we're going to be talking about the Art Harvest Studio Tour, and with me today is my guest, Kathleen Buck, who's going to share information about the studio tour. Kathleen, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, you are deeply involved in this.
I am. I have been on the this will be the 23rd year of the Art Harvest Studio Tour, and I believe I have been on it for 19 of those. And I got convinced to be chairman of the board this year. So, yes, I'm involved in both the backstage, and I'm one of the artists doing the tour.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the tour and where it happens and what goes on.
Well, it's the first 2 full weekends of October every year. So this year it's October 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and then 9th, 10th, and 11th. The artists who are on the tour get juried in, and then they produce a body of work and they open their studios to the public. So it's kind of like a treasure hunt. It's all in Yamhill County. You get a catalog, buy a button for $8, and you can...
You mean one of these?
One of those. And for all 6 days, from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m., people can go to any studio in any order and stay as long as or as short as they want. There will be maps and signs on how to get there, and they can discuss art. They can buy art if they're so inclined, or a lot of people want to see various studios. They want to see how people set up. They want to see fabulous artwork. And it's a big county, so it does take more than one day to do the whole thing. But some people do it all. Some people just do one area or another. It's a fun time, and you get to see an art demonstration that all the artists do, and you get to see their body of work.
So historically, Kathleen, about how many artists are involved in this event?
35 to 40 is a really common number. This year we have 39. Some of the people have paired up, so 2 people share one studio. So they're not 39 separate places. I think there's like 33 separate places. But yeah, that's a pretty common number. Every year we have a good handful of new people, and older people have dropped off because they've moved or they've decided they don't want to do it for whatever reason. Sometimes artists come back. They can come back for 2 years without being rejuried, or if it's more than that, they get rejuried in and make sure that they're good.
So let me ask you this. Let's say, for example, and this would never happen. I applied to be an artist, to be represented at this event. How would I go about doing it?
In the early part of the year, January, February, the call to artist is sent out. You would get the call to artist, and you would fill out the information and send in your check. There's a small fee for it. And then you would have a visit to make sure that your studio was accessible to people, that you had a body of work, and that you were a good artist. And if so, then you're in the tour. We do unfortunately turn down some people, but we hope that they will keep working and apply again the next year.
Now, when people are touring about the different studios, are they? Is there an opportunity to watch artists at work?
Yes.
At these events?
All artists either are doing a demo, or they have stages of their work showing. Some people don't actually paint or sculpt well during the tour, but they'll show things in progress and then discuss the materials and their medium and how they do their art. Others, I always paint. And you can stay and watch me do an entire painting, or you can just wander through and see my work and see part of it. If people have questions, you break and answer questions. And
I noticed that nearly all of the towns in Yamhill County are represented. I think the one I didn't see was just Dayton. Every other town is represented.
It's
so
true.
are there studios in each of these towns?
Yes. So my studio is in Sherwood, but that's Yamhill County, Sherwood, so it still counts. And so I'm considered in the Newburgh area. And we have 7-ish, I'm not sure, in the Newburgh area. And then there's a bunch in Yamhill. Yamhill Carlton is clumped on the maps. And then McMinnville and Sheridan and Amity. And so just depending on who got in that year and who's doing it is where the maps show how to get to their house and where they are. So pretty much the patrons will pick an area and try and do that area maybe on that day and then somewhere else the next day.
Wow, it sounds like a map that would almost have to be rather hastily produced down the stretch to have everyone on there. Or is it easy to get that information wrapped up before the event occurs?
Well, it is. The catalog is going to print right now. We have a very good graphic designer who does the maps, and then I'm the map editor, and I'll say, well, that road actually curves. Put a little curve in it. So so there's an attempt to make them not to scale but accurate. But then of course there's also the signs, so people put up various signs. I'm fairly remote, so I put up like 60 signs showing keep going, you're almost there, keep going, or turn here. Downtown McMinnville, they don't put up as much signs, but you'll see the signs. They're yellow and say Art Harvest, and it's just like a treasure hunt.
Now, is the idea that each site is going to be one artist, or there are multiple artists at the different locations?
Each site is 1 or 2 artists. I think one site has 3, but in general, we wanted to be a studio tour, so we want people to see a working studio. So how I set up my studio is completely different than how the next painter might set up theirs. So it's a studio tour. You get to see how we work.
Well, let's find out a little more about how a person can find out more about this event. We have contact information.
There's a website which will be up in another day or 2. It's artharveststudiotour.org. And it has all of the artists and their locations and is tied to Google Maps. So how to get there, the catalog that we is just going to print right now. And so in a week we will have the catalog, and we pass that out. We have a mailing list, and we're mailing some. But anyone can go to Curran's Gallery or Mary Artist in McMinnville, the Cultural Center, or Cusick Picture Frame in Newburgh. And I can't remember the other locations, but there's sites within each of the areas where they will pass out the catalogs and or sell you a button. And the button is $8, and if you wear it, then everyone knows that you've paid, and you get to go to all the studios just wearing your button.
Sounds like it'd be well worth it for the number of
It is. And the reason we charge for the button is because the catalog costs quite a bit to produce. So it's a beautiful color catalog that has 1 or more images from everybody's art, directions to their studio, an artist statement, and the maps.
Okay. Well, we've talked about the Art Harvest Studio Tour. Let's talk a little bit about Kathleen Buck. You live in Sherwood. And how long have you been practicing the art of artistry and painting?
Probably all my life I've been doing art, but I have been doing serious art since 1984 when we moved to Sherwood. And I am a figurative painter, so I mostly do people or animals in a moment of time. I also do a lot of wine bottles because of where we live, Yamhill County. We got to do that.
Right, and I have done a little bit of homework. Like I said, we have the complete dossier on you here. Yeah, I strive to capture a moment in time and express the energy and joy found in the moment. This can be expressed through a single gesture of the person or animal in the scene. We've got some of your work to show today, so perhaps if we can take a look at some of your work, then we can chat about it a little, or you can chat about it a little bit. I can admire it while you chat about it.
All right. Okay, so this one is one of my wine series. I started doing those when the Allison Hotel was being built. They wanted art from local artists, and they wanted wine themes. So I sold 7 of these various wine and wine bottle themed ones to them, and then they were very popular, and I kept going. So this is acrylic on canvas painted with a palette knife, and it's from a setup that I did just in my studio, and then of course made up a lot of it. But I like the way that that one thing is in front of another and you see reflections through, and I like painting wine and wine bottles. And of course in Yamhill County, the wine capital, it's a good thing to do.
Yeah, if it was my painting, the glasses would have been empty.
So I got 2 new cats this year. And they were so charming when they would flump down on the various pillows and change their position. And so I had to paint them. So this is my circle of contentment, and it's just sort of portraits of my cats.
What kind of cats are those?
Oh, pound cats.
Pound cats.
Tabbies. Yeah.
Happy, frisky,
happy and
playful.
Right. This is Sitting on Rocks, and it is a mixed media on board. The others have been acrylic, and so I painted various papers, and then I tore the papers and put them together into this image. And I had taken it the idea came from one of my sons who has frizzy yellow hair sitting on rocks, so I thought that it kind of worked. So I started with yellow, and then I did these various papers on it, and then touched it up with the various blues.
Nice light.
Thank you.
Wonderful lighting on that.
This is Splash. I went to the beach a lot this summer, and I really am taken with both clouds and the splash on the rocks. And so I thought I would capture that. Again, it's palette knife painting with acrylic on canvas. So catch that ball.
Catch that ball. I know that dog.
Do you? A lot of people know that dog, and I just love the way they just jump in and go for it. And I sort of envisioned the water as wings.
No fear.
No fear.
Just the ball.
So I used to do a lot of scuba diving, and this one is a mixed media on board. And I started. It was a floral, and then I didn't like that, and I just kept changing it, and it just sort of became an underwater, and I kept changing it, and this is what came out.
Okay, I think we have time to just look at one more real quick. Oh, I guess we're out of time. So again, let's recap the Art Harvest Tour, studio tour real quickly. The dates are?
The first 2 full weekends of October, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. From 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. And you can get buttons and catalogs in a lot of places around. You'll see the posters, and go on to our website and find out how to attend.
Great. Well, thanks so much for joining me today, Kathleen. It sounds like a fascinating and fun event.
Thank you.
Well, Linda will be back, and so you'll be seeing her again soon. So I'll see you down at the theater.